Hello, it's been about 2 weeks since my last video, and in this time I've climbed about 2 times. Unfortunately, during my first session right after the last video, I did injure myself. My wrist, or my right wrist / tendon, not really sure. I really wish that I could have climbed more. I felt like in the time that I couldn't climb, all my progress has just been reset. I've climbed once in between my injury and today, during Valentine's weekend. Unfortunately, I had to climb with one hand, so that was quite an experience. But today I'll probably be doing the same thing, just continue to climb with just one hand, since my right one doesn't work. But yeah.
Your delts are going crazy.
To take me in your spaceship, throw me up into new places, blast me into silence, let your guidance get me through this. Gravity is pulling me along and I can't find a way to understand why I'm here again and again. I feel like everybody's singing out of tune.
We gotta do this Valentine's thing though. I don't know how. Yeah. Me and Kyle are gonna do it. Father and son.
I don't want a Valentine, I just want Valentino. I just want the neck, I poker face like a casino. Dito, no, I get it in like a burrito. Shorty wants some more, she just can't seem to keep a neat. I don't want a Valentine, I just want Valentino. I just want the neck, I poker face like a casino. Dito, no, I get it in like a burrito. Shorty wants some more, she just can't seem to keep a neat. I fly home, ain't no minute, make my diamonds lemonade. Flexing hard, call me Papa while it filled with spinach shake.
If I had to summarize my sessions this week in 2 words or in 1 word, humbled. I was truly humbled. 1, climbing with one hand turned out to be way different or harder than I expected. Always having 2 points of contact on the wall instead of 3 meant that a lot of the techniques that I've developed were quite different. Sometimes a V1, because it's an overhang, is way harder than a V2 to 4. I think the biggest thing about that was that I was mentally getting destroyed, falling over and over on like a V1. Definitely had to be creative with a lot of techniques. A lot of times I realized that my hip and my leg placement made things so much easier. I also had to drive so much more force from my legs to alleviate some weight from my left arm. But ultimately, I was suffering in there. My entire left side of my upper body, like my back, arm, shoulder, were like getting destroyed. They were so sore the whole time. And towards the end of today's session, there was actually a point where I was working on a V2-3 and I really, really wanted to give up. It was a slab, I'll show it here, but I was really struggling to just get past the small footholds and switch my arm. My left was just giving out on me as I just tried to power through the climb. I remember at some point I really, really wanted to quit. I thought it was impossible, but I swear at that moment, God just spawned this one guy. This kid pulled up to me, sat right next to me and started working on his V5-7 project. Or it was a 6-8, I forget. But he started working on his project right next to me, and I just watched him like go up the wall, falling over and over. But then I suddenly looked over and realized that he only had one hand, or one hand with fingers. His right hand, because of a birth defect, was missing basically all 5 of his fingers, and he had -6 wingspan, 5'4", yet he was still climbing, still reaching. Obviously, the climb he was working on was way intended for a frame way bigger than his, but he was still trying different betas, grinding it out, falling, not complaining at all. And I just remember thinking to myself, how could I be complaining about my right arm and giving up on this V2 when this guy is working so hard and hasn't said a word yet? And yeah, no, that just really remotivated me. I was ultimately able to send that climb because of him, I think. I'll give him total credit. But yeah, I talked with him. Me and him were talking some beta. I ended up climbing with him for the next hour, asking him questions. Super nice guy, also super talented and strong guy. But, you know, maybe the lesson of today is that just never give up. Don't complain. Even if you're short, can't reach, not strong enough, there's always a way. And I'm very guilty of that. When I climb with my friends, I'm always complaining. I swear I always complain about my height, not being strong enough. And I'm aware, it's just, I let them get to my head and I don't want to like think about it, but I was really humbled today. Realized that sometimes I just gotta thug it out, you know? Don't think about it, but good lessons.